Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 208 of the Terminus podcast for the weeks of May 20th, 2023. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. With me I have Jacob Durbin, Tyler L., and TJ Sakosio as our main cast. And joining
Hello.
us as our guest, Mew the Enigma.
Hello.
Wait, we haven't been rolling for the last 2 hours that we've been recording?
All the content,
You
it's
gotta do it
gone.
all over
This is
again.
why we need to have the
No.
cameras on at all times.
Ooh.
That mentality is
Really
exactly what,
reality TV.
that mentality is what created Sunday driving. Anyway.
That's what he wants you to think.
Anyway, we have a pretty uneventful couple of weeks, but I'm still looking forward to talking about it. And actually, TJ, if there's anything we missed with Mew about Kama, we can talk about it as well. But
Yeah.
in order to get to that, the train will terminate at this station.
Sorry, I had a dirt bike army going by my window, so I didn't want to say anything.
I heard.
Oh, you did? Okay. Noise canceling got that or not?
The car goes vroom vroom.
Yeah, we're at the Horseshoe Curve.
Yay!
Woo.
We're hoping to see a string line, but we make no promises.
Just give it time.
Yeah, just give it time. It's a really
have
nice
a break.
day.
We have rigged some faulty spikes into the rail.
No, we did not. We did not do that.
We did not follow the German example,
We
sadly.
have not. We have not committed sabotage against
We
U.S.
made a 3D
railroads.
printer go
It's for
burn.
content. It's for content.
In Minecraft.
Yeah, in
Yeah, we're
Coggers.
actually watching the Roblox Horseshoe Curve feed.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
So,
What
we had
sign would you
speaking
put
of
up?
speaking of wrecks, we had 3 wrecks. In fact, they were one after the next, and it's pretty clear to me which one the best one is. But Union Pacific hit a car on May 9th and killed someone, and then CSX hit a car on May 10th and killed someone. Actually, I don't think they killed anyone this time, but yeah, it was a semi truck. It doesn't say if the person survived or not. The following day, CSX did another thing. They derailed a bunch of cars in Mason, Tennessee. They dropped some cars into a creek. There aren't many photos. Like, there's only one photo I can see of this, but this is the most wreck of the wrecks this week. I definitely gets my vote because that's all we have. CPKC and Norfolk Southern remain joint holders of the mantle. And my vote goes for this. I don't know about anybody else.
My
I'm
vote
going to
goes
see if I
for
can
it,
find
yeah.
more photos.
My vote goes. Well, does the Breaking Bad episode count? The
No.
Bad IRL
I'll-
count as a mantelpiece?
I hadn't thought about that, but no, we're going to talk about that in discussion topics later. Whose train was that on? UP?
Yeah.
Yeah, it went to Cheyenne. Of course
Yeah.
it was on UP.
So, I found another photo of the wreck, and definitely gets my vote.
Can you share it with the class?
It's in podcast.
Oh. Yeah.
That's bad.
Do
I
you
think-
want to throw some cars
Listen,
on the ground?
I'm not a railroad expert, but I feel like you're supposed to have 2 rails on your track.
I'm no expert in lighter than aircraft,
Yeah,
but I think you need more altitude.
this is what happens when you take the spikes out.
Railant.
This is what's going to happen in approximately an hour and 10 minutes on the Horseshoe Curve.
You say that, and if it does actually happen, it's just gonna be
TJ.
like cheese flat in the
If
queen.
that happens, I will change my identity and move to another country, probably.
Oh God.
I mean, I won't do
Just
that.
gonna.
If you can get out of the country at that point.
I'm
This
gonna
is
be
in
like
Minecraft.
I'm gonna be like the news story that's been up recently about that guy from Rhode Island who's pretending to be a British man in a wheelchair.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's some dude who is getting in a lot of trouble for being a sex criminal in Rhode Island.
Ugh.
Classic.
And so instead of, being a man and taking it on the chin, he he decided to fake his own death. And now he's like claiming to be some British guy who's paralyzed, and he went on like CBS or something recently to like clear the air, quote unquote. Even though
Okay.
everybody like it's pretty obvious that he's the guy. And so he did like a whole charade where he like pretended to stand up and like fell back down, and he was like he has like an oxygen tank basically like next to him. It's like a Mel Brooks skit kind of. It's so
Good
fun.
God. Well, anyway, I feel like CSX wins this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Congrats.
Congratulations
Use
to
the
CSX.
word you don't want.
Yeah,
Outstanding move.
here's the railroad equivalent of a Razzie. But,
Darwin Award?
Went poorly.
what?
Said you mean a Darwin Award?
Oh, that too.
Darwin.
Anyway. So, I have been running around. Well, I've been a shut-in, but I've been running around mentally these last couple of weeks, mostly trying to bang out some special orders, get things out the door for trading cards so that I could go back to working on the website. But,
Buy trading cards, folks.
yeah. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about it on the podcast. TJ and Mew and I went to CAMA, which is the Connecticut Antique Machinery Association. Very, very cool show. That same weekend, there was another show, a trolley show, that Mew was trying to get me to go to, and I think my exact words were, I can't afford to wander around Connecticut for both days. But you were back at that museum again, like yesterday, weren't you?
I was the Shoreline Trolley Museum. If you've heard of the Brantford Electric Railway Association, they run the show. Visitor centers across the river in East Haven.
They run the thing.
They run
no
the thing.
diddly bopping around.
They run it like they stole it.
That's the only way to run it.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, basically.
Good.
It was not good weather yesterday. I'm surprised they still had the event.
Oh yeah, they had to cancel a bunch of cars, including the 3 I signed up for.
Aw.
Luckily, I did get to drive one of the other cars. And after the show, I did help with putting the cars away, which, ooh, that's a tale in and of itself.
Go on.
Uh,
I mean,
oh,
are you allowed
so
to tell this tale, or is this like, oh, sorry,
basically,
we don't want to make the museum look bad?
no, I can. Okay, I just didn't realize we were already in our local service.
Oh yeah, no, I just,
yeah.
smooth transition.
Yeah, very true. So I guess I'll go for the day. There were 3 cars I wanted to operate on. One was the open air car that's technically able to run, but hasn't been revealed to the public yet. Connecticut Company 1425.
Well, now it's been revealed to the public.
True. Well, unveiled as in fully finished.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
technically, there are running boards on either side that aren't installed yet and stuff.
Oh, they just need to finish the tender decking. I see.
It'll be done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Soon, TM. But yeah, because of heavy rain, you don't want to run an open air car outside. One of the other ones was Montreal and Southern 9, which someone, I forget who, actually posted pictures of a sister car in one of the chats. And the third is actually the Connecticut Company's Executive Car 500.
If you have pictures of these that you want to share, you can put them in the podcast chat. I'll put them up on the screen for everybody.
True. I did not come prepared for that.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to ask if they were open air cars. That would definitely explain
No.
why.
No, the other 2 aren't. only 1425.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here's an example of 1425 incoming. Back when it did have the side running boards installed. There's a sister that our
Ooh.
museum owns that runs at Lake Compounds. Well, ran. Apparently, they've been doing so poorly that we've reclaimed the trolley car, going to move it back.
Oh,
Aw.
really? Like Compounds is doing poorly?
Don't necessarily quote me on that. I don't know if how true or not it is. It's rumors I've heard from around the local community.
I
So
haven't even thought about like compounds in so many years.
I
I
had
always-
considered visiting, I just haven't yet.
I always forget that they have like a whole trolley. I always just remember the little train that they have.
It's the one line, and I think it's 1414 is the car they have.
Yeah. Do they like? Was that like? Did it? I'm assuming it started as a trolley park, right? Like that's why that's a thing.
I don't actually know 100% because. Oh, thanks, yeah, that is that is 500.
What's
But
the other one?
car 500, because that one's up next, I'll just post it. I mean, talk about it. So that one was the executive car. Every so often, the executives were required to tour all the lines, do an inspection.
Can you imagine if they made them do that these days?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you do have the executive car, so they do that. Like the
Like move
Metroliner
customers
car.
more.
Yeah, imagine having to use the infrastructure that your company provides.
This one,
Imagine living where the infrastructure for your company exists. I'm looking at you, MBTA.
Yeah, I was about to say.
My man's in Chicago, riding the wrong orange line.
the second car has derailed on the orange line.
He's like, guys, what do you mean the orange line's fine?
Yeah, that's the reality. He didn't know which job he signed up for.
Yeah, he
Just saw
checked. He
orange
thought he
line.
checked remote on LinkedIn, but he didn't.
But yeah, so 500, not only did it have like a living room style with wicker seats for the executives to talk, it also had a galley with a hot plate for meals to be prepared,
A hot plate.
all in this car, and a little bathroom, which we like to tell, especially the women visitors to the museum, a bathroom with a Tiffany glass window.
Nice. I thought you were about to say
And-
we have to tell people not to use it because it dumps out on the ground.
Well, that too, actually. Small detail. But another thing that we like to talk about is that both motormen's areas are actually enclosed with doors so that they don't hear the executives talking about how much they're going to dock his pay.
It's like I was listening
Damn.
recently. Well, there's your problem about Conrail, and it's like how the guy who repeatedly kept pressing the wrong button on the system to like broadcast everything over the public PA rather
Oh,
than private
no.
radio, and then he just like screwed over all of his plans by doing exactly that.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
I need
He's
to
like, hey, I think I'm gonna. He's like, hey, I think I'm gonna like fire half the train crew on this train, but like he just broadcasted it to the whole train crew, and they
Man,
striked and like ruined his plan.
Oh my
man.
Outstanding.
Something like that.
It's your clueless meme here.
I don't know. This is all an ad for the Well, There's a Problem podcast now. So
god. Yeah. I mean, it has been
Yeah.
since we found out about it.
yeah,
The
Yay,
third
Liam.
car, Montreal and Southern 9, Montreal and Southern Counties Railway 9. I don't know much about it, admittedly, beyond the fact that it existed and the car still exists. But cool interurban is cool.
Yes.
What's with cool number 9s? Huh?
I don't know.
Excellent question. The universe. The
42.
different universe.
The
I have
different
two
universe
number
likes 9s.
True. Anyway, so those were the three I was supposed to run yesterday. Except the heavy rain, they decided now we're canceling that. We're going to run a limited thing. because this was Members Day. We had people coming in from out of state. I wouldn't be surprised if across the country, maybe a few people. So we
Wow.
still needed cars to run.
Right.
And so we did have cars to run, luckily. Let me see if I can get my photos from yesterday.
I think the important thing that we missed here is you volunteer with them.
I do. I became a member, I want to say 2 years ago. And this year, I started doing the volunteer operator training, so I can actually drive the public service cars that they bring out for the public.
He runs the thing.
I will. I will. And actually, in this photo, the yellow car in the center and the green and cream car on the right are two of those. Middle one's Connecticut Company 1602, our birthday car. The concrete floor on the bottom and just like seats along the length. So you can put a table in there and kids can celebrate their birthdays, eat pizza and cake in there.
Oh my god, it's like a
then,
hurricane. This photo.
Yeah, it basically was. It was cats and dogs. I got soaked through my jacket in that.
Oh man.
And the one on the right is out of Atlanta. I forget the name of the company, but yeah, I ran down in Georgia. One of our safety cars, in that you can't open the doors or take power unless you have the handle down, and you can't open the doors unless the brakes applied.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you can also see on the left there our SME. So we had the SME and the R17 and the R9 running, along with a number of trolley cars in that pouring rain. Had it not been pouring, we would have had more.
That's cool. That's great. I haven't visited this museum in a very long time. I've been to Seashore quite a few times in the last few years, but
Do it.
I know it's just Connecticut, man. It's far.
True.
The good thing about Seashore is it's on the way to the WWF. That's why
Very
I've been there
true.
so many times.
I actually, despite passing it multiple times, have not been to Kennebunkport yet. Because my parents always want to stay on Route 1 on our way to Mount Desert Island, etc.
Oh no.
Yes.
Mount Desert Island.
Yes.
Something 2 foot?
It's what the people want. Well, something rare. It's online.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, we never had a locomotive named Bigfoot.
Yet.
Anyway, what is?
so,
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you had more. I was about to say, what has everyone else been up to?
Sorry. I'll finish it up. So, end of the day, you're putting the subway cars away. So actually, I know someone who graduated RPI same class as me, yet we never met.
Oh,
I won't say what he does, but he loves driving the R9.
okay.
And I was helping him put it away in one of the barns newly built uphill. And this is in the pouring rain, so one of the other guys actually had to walk ahead because the slope was so steep, pouring sand on the rails. And so once we get up there, we, make it to the entrance of the barn, and then realize that we also have a crane car there that they moved to an adjacent track. And the track that we would have to put the R9 in, we struggled because if you notice in one of the 2 latest pics I put, they still have third rail shoes on, despite not being electrically connected to anything. So I did a bit of a sketchy thing where as he was moving the car slowly, I lifted the third rail shoe to clear the first traction motor. We continued, only to realize, even with me lifting and dropping the third rail shoe all the way, no way it would clear the second. So after all that, we had to back the subway car down the slope as the rain picked up again, like cats and dogs. I had to lift the shoe up to clear the traction motor again, put it down, and eventually we put it right outside, actually on the same track you can see in my latest 2 pictures. And after that, we went home. I had dinner. Yeah. The end.
Nice. Well, you made everything fit. These subway
Yeah.
cars are like the reason I want to visit. I have always had a fascination with the. Oh shoot! I closed out the freaking.
Subway cars with trolley poles. It's a vibe. But
Put up the damn wires.
600 volts is 600 volts.
That is
DC.
true.
Anyway. Sorry, I accidentally closed out the webcam so I get distracted. What else? What has everybody else been up to? Tyler, what is this about the big boy?
Well, I was thinking Jader could go first because they already put all their photos up.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Let's see. Well, I guess with real stuff, I haven't done much. We had rules class for Hocking Valley, and the regular season starts this coming Saturday. I'm going to be down there. Technically, well, we had our preseason steam trains this weekend. I think they went well. I wasn't there, but from what I understand, it went well. But the big thing with Hocking Valley is that it's not on property yet, but we have a new locomotive coming. I'm sending a picture of it.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, new to us. It's a SW1200 that forget where it came from originally,
Looks like New York Central.
but I think it was Norfolk Southern for a while, and then N&W, and then something else. But it's at a grain mill in East Columbus, and then eventually it's going to show up in Nelsonville. Don't know when.
Oh, is that grain mill the logo on it in your picture?
Yeah, it's or is it? I don't actually know what the logo is. It's kind of a crappy picture.
Yeah, the only
Picture.
reason why I say New York Central is because the numbering paint looks very similar to the SW that they have at Strasbourg.
Yeah, it's the right
That's
font.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first thought. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know anything about it until I just checked Facebook one day in between classes, and I'm just like, what? We're
Also, it
Okay.
looks like they put it like on the wrong trucks.
A little bit, yeah.
Like it looks like it just rides way too high.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal with that is.
They put the lift
I
kit
think
on
it's
it.
Air ride suspension.
I think
It's doing
it
the
should-
vibe.
I think it's missing the pilot, but I don't entirely know.
Oh yeah, it doesn't have a plow. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
The grain mill is owned by someone with a small penis.
Boy.
I can't be a lowrider. Gotta be high.
They should make it a
Gotta be
dually.
tall.
But yeah, it'll show up eventually. Not entirely sure like what it's gonna be painted as or what exactly we're gonna do with it. But cool.
Yeah, details.
Yeah,
Especially colors.
yeah, eventually it'll do things. But anyway, let's see, this was probably about 2.5, 3 weeks ago now. I got an award for all the work I did on 90704 last year. That's the second most recent picture I posted.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a little clock, and I have it on my desk right here, and I love it because it's a functional gift.
Nice.
Yeah, I like those sorts of awards where it's like a clock or like a watch or something where you can like actually use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just it doesn't just sit on my desk looking pretty. It actually tells me what time it is. I like it.
Lovely little piece for a great job.
Thank you.
Absolutely
knew-
well deserved.
If I
Yes.
knew anything about carpentry, I would be working on the other caboose right now. But I don't know shit about carpentry.
Sounds like you need Jesus, but not in the religious way, just because his dad
You
was
don't
a
know
carpenter.
Jack.
Yeah, because we have a sister car to this that's been sitting in the corner of the engine house since I think 2009, and it's been going in fits and starts.
Oh,
Yeah, and that one's even cooler because it still has. These originally had arch bar trucks, and then gradually they were modernized. But the sister car still has its arch bar trucks, so it's in a way even more historic.
well. Alright, how many... You say DCC installs. How many DCC installs?
Uh, well, since like March, when I think I was last on here, 4.
Wow.
First one I don't have pictures of in here, but that's a brass B&O Pacific that I kind of bought on impulse,
Mm.
and then speed ran painting it and everything over spring break while I was home, and it runs pretty well. Except it has this weird problem where it slips, like even by itself, it just slips. So I don't know what's going on there.
Interesting. It's ice
Yeah,
wheels.
basically.
Yeah, you got to get like rubber tires for it or something.
That's what everybody suggested, but I haven't done it yet. But I'll figure something out.
The idea that it slips on its own is impressive. I'm
Yeah,
wondering
it's
what's
weird.
going on there.
Yes.
Bad factor, like the worst factor of adhesion you've ever seen.
Yeah,
On a model, no less.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, they were slipping. Pretty sure they were slipping number 5 on its own.
That's true.
At Kama.
It's not like 5
They
can
had.
pull anything around anyway. Except for, I guess, those gondolas.
Those gondolas that some random dude said he's never seen move.
Yeah. In fairness, I didn't see them move either, so.
I've never seen a move either. That's
Yeah.
true.
was that just some? I'm curious. Was that just some random dude or like a volunteer?
We
Well,
don't know.
it was a random dude, but he was sure to inform me that he's building those exact gondolas in model form.
Alright.
I was like, okay.
Cool.
Are videos not ideal to post for the podcast?
What'd you say? Oh, videos. Videos are... I don't really have a good way to show videos.
Okay.
Um,
Let me see if I can get a good shot of 5 pulling those gondolas then, or at least one of them.
what's with the
Well,
Pierre
you look for
Marquette
that.
thing?
Got the
Okay,
video.
so that okay, so I have the brass C&O Mikado. That's not really a basket case, but at the same time, it's been really temperamental. And actually, just today, I got it to run under its own power in DC again. So hopefully, it's fine now.
That's this 2352, yeah?
No, that's
No. Oh, that's a big
1183. It's kind of torn apart. It's in a box right now.
Oh, okay, I was
But
looking for a
23
photo of it.
Yeah, but the 2352. So for a while, like since I graduated, like my high school graduation gift to myself was that 4501, a Southern Consolidation, and a couple other things on a lot on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And the 280 is torn apart. I'm kit bashing it into a C&O. I don't remember what I did with the other things, and then there was the 4501. And I haven't really done anything with it since like Apollo, so nearly 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what the hell could I do with this thing? And then I find a picture of, well, it's not this one specific. I forget what the picture was exactly, but found a picture of a C&O Mikado with this big fuck off tender. And turns out they were ex Pierre Marquettes, which is what, like the one I posted, they passed a C&O when they merged, and then they added the number boards and changed a couple things. But I'm like, and then I did some research. They're basically USRAs, and then they added the big tender in like the late 30s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, I have a spare tender, well, from a Berkshire that doesn't run anymore,
Right.
and I have the Mikado, and I'm like, this should be an easy project. I actually want I want a viable C&O Mikado, because the brass one is temperamental, and I don't have the other one yet. That's hopefully next time I'm here I'll actually have that. It's gonna be fun. So I ordered up some parts for it. Ordered a Locksound Steam decoder for it. First time using Locksound Steam. I really like it. I
Alright.
wish I could share a video, but it sounds really, really good.
Despite their recent problems, I support lock sound because of the sheer customization of the sounds you can do.
Yeah, I I'm excited. I haven't done much customizing with that one yet, but I'm hoping to do it in the future with stuff. So then there's that. Then the GP7 I've posted with all the fancy lights. That's been a couple months. Oh, no, about a month and a half in the making. Um, that's part of the first order C&O GP7s where they originally had a Mars light. And there's like, I've
What?
only seen maybe 4 pictures of them. Yeah, they didn't last very long with the Mars lights. Like maybe 3 years.
Mad Lights. SP Light package.
Almost. But I'm like, okay, that would be fun to model. I don't really have anything with a working Mars light, and they're obscure. So got a factory painted for the 2000 model off of eBay, and then shaved off the old headlight. Ended up breaking a couple grab irons in the process, but that's fine. Remade those, glued on the extra lights, and getting the lights to work was a pain in the ass. Because my original idea was just to do 2 LEDs with fiber optic strands going to the LEDs, but they didn't fit. So actually, yesterday, I just ended up taking little 0603 size LEDs, really tiny ones, and just sticking them in each light hole. So there's 4 per end, so 8 total in the model.
Mm-hmm.
And it works. It sounds okay. The speaker's a little not as loud as I would like, but I can probably fix that with programming.
Are you able to fit like a small resonance chamber in there?
Yeah, it's got a little enclosure.
Okay.
It's like an ESU Cube speaker. It came with the decoder when I bought it,
Oh, okay.
except I can't get the decoder to program. Like, well, I can get the lights to work. I change the number, and I can get the motor control stuff to work, but I can't change like the horn or the bell. So I think there's a problem with the sound file.
Oh,
Yeah,
We need bass boosted GP.
something BLI? Rolling Thunder?
We should put subwoofers in every model.
Yeah,
BL moment.
yeah, absolutely. Rolling
Oh,
Thunder.
Because it can.
but I have a log programmer on order. It should be here tomorrow, and I'm just gonna probably rewrite the sound file and see if that fixes it.
Oh wow.
Wish you luck. Let me know how it goes, because I actually got a log programmer of my own. I have yet to open it because of lack of space to do any real programming and finagling.
And real quick before I have to shuffle Tyler through his stuff, what's the Santa Fe thing?
That is one of 3 engines that's out Ace is paying me to work on actually.
Oh, okay. He's just a Santa Fe thing.
East has a thing for the Santa Fe.
He's spends too much time receiving links from Kevon.
Yeah, he does.
You do too.
I want it out. You dragged me back in. Now I just keep it muted.
You know you can leave at any time.
No, I can't. Apparently, I left. They put me back in.
You can check it anytime.
Hotel California.
Yeah, I can check it anytime I want. Is right. So Tyler bought a big boy.
No, I did not. I did not
Yeah.
buy a big.
You're modeling every variation of Big Boy.
Okay, it's sending all these photos. So, brief background. As some of you are aware, our good friend O'Gillies
Mm-hmm.
goes to school near where I live.
Allegedly.
And my school gets out a
God
week
damn
before their school goes out. So, what does that mean? I got dragged into doing a trip up there, visit. Originally, the pretense
you poor
was
man. You poor
was
man.
to go see.
Dude, I hate going on vacation.
Yeah,
Just
well,
imagine getting to just
Especially
go.
when O'Gillies is there.
yeah, it was
I want to go on
literally
vacation
like
with my good friend Achilles.
a 3-hour drive to do a weekend shenanigan.
Hmm.
stuff.
Ours isn't bad.
Can I just
So-
say, small 040?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, is that a
Yeah, I
fireless
will.
model?
I will explain in a second.
Explain now.
The original plan was to go see 4960 because I was running that weekend. But O'Gillies is an operator at the Wyoming Division Historical Society, and magically gets the email of, "Oh, we're doing an op session that day."
Okay.
So my friend and I and O'Gillies get dragged to this, and
Drag.
I'm sure you were kicking
This-
and screaming.
Yeah. You poor man.
no, it's absolutely massive.
That's what she
3,000.
said.
This photo is decent for size. That's upper level,
Oh wow.
Ooh.
and that's just part of it. Like it's about the same, the walkways in the middle. So essentially, the layout models Union Pacific Transcon in Wyoming from Cheyenne to Ogden. Essentially, we have
Oh cool.
main yards being Laramie and Green River.
Isn't there
And
a yard in Cheyenne though?
what?
Isn't there a yard in Cheyenne too?
Yeah, that's if you look at the photo that I put up, that's the whole like big like Cheyenne is just below the camera. Let me see if I can
Okay.
get a
Oh,
good
So what-
photo. It's
So what
the
you're
whole
telling me-
yard.
So what you're telling me is you can reenact the Golden Spike 150 excursion anytime you want.
When you're there, yes.
yeah. No. Only when 4960 is running and Achilles gets an email.
Fair, fair.
So, yeah, that's just the turntable. There's a lot more to it. It's got
Wow.
roundhouse, the back shops, a few other facilities, but it borders up on staging, so a lot of the details aren't there yet.
Okay.
So I was just kind of brought there, told, hey, it's a pretty easy system, then handed a clipboard with a bunch of car cards, given a remote, told, that's your engine, go.
Oh, waybills? Oh.
Not
Well,
waybills, car cards. So essentially,
Oh, right. I keep
it-
interchanging them by accident.
yeah, it very similar system, but instead of it being like every single car has a waybill, there are block cards for a lot of stuff, and then there's single ones for industries along the line.
Okay.
So the photo of the little thing that is coming into Laramie, there's what would be Sherman Hill. I guess is Sherman Hill. Is what I'm coming off of there, and that's like the little Union. I forget that's Ironworks thing. It wasn't an operational bit, but nice little scenery detail. I think that's like
Now
mini
that
tri-
is a roundhouse.
Oh, you pull up the Cheyenne.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's like the roundhouse we have in Geiger Union Terminal.
Yeah.
But with
It's-
more spaces.
We did not actually mess with it during the session. There was like 15 people operating by the end. And we were just shuffling engines from staging to, if you see where the little 060 is at the bottom,
Yeah.
there's a
cute.
couple tracks that go into the back shops right there. And so we were just plopping engines on that little stub and then pulling them back out to put back on whatever's shape they shuffled out of staging.
So are
If there's like
you simulated loco servicing, you're saying?
essentially it was more so just to get it out of the way of staging.
Okay.
But like when there's like 50 people here, which is I've heard has happened a couple times, when you have a reasonable convention, there is just like one or two people running the roundhouse facility.
That's
And I
cool.
really want to see that. So, but yeah, it was great. We were doing it for hours, just running stuff down the Green River, back, all this. Waited a long time outside of Laramie and Green River because these poor yard masters. Ellis, you need to come out and try this one of these days.
I mean, I would love to just come out west on a whim, but I think next time I'm out there
Yeah.
and 4960 is running, I'm actually going to go there, because last time I was out there and 4960 was running, I got screwed.
Yeah. The O'Gillies really did not want to see 4960 because of the whole Amtrak fiasco they had. And was like, I don't want a railfan. And, you know, it was great. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to be put on, like, maybe take, like, Consolidation or Mikado or something. Yeah, that'd just be fun. I'm handed Big Boys and Challengers and early TTALs, and it was, yeah.
Awesome.
And then the other photos there, we took a side trip to Sedona. Well, not O'Gillies, because O'Gillies had a party. But nice little hikes.
Yeah, that's pretty.
We,
That's desktop background material.
yeah. And then
Agreed.
also, where is, I need to pull up, the mandated update on Cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask for
It
that.
has
before I
brakes
had
now.
It has brakes now.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Can you do that for the Mikado I was using on Tolbrand? That thing could use some brakes.
We could mess with the E-spec at some point, maybe.
Anyway, yay Cookie. I'm
Yeah.
glad to see that the work never stops. Sort of.
It will stop one of these days, but
No, I don't think it'll stop when you're in the ground.
yeah,
Pretty sure.
yeah.
Anyway, you know what time it is?
Time for
408.
Ow.
Locomotive.
That's like the most true to.
Oh, that was good.
That was the
really
best
good.
one that we've heard without Weibold, I think. In the one corner, we have from the Connecticut Antique Machinery Association, Hawaii number 5. Which let me get a good picture of it. CJ took some great shots of it here.
Yeah, I think I posted a couple up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
that's a trading card photo right there.
Are we actually gonna make a trading card of this?
I would love to.
Do it.
Hey, at least it's not treacherous.
If I get I gave my business card out to the whole engine crew, and they were like super enthusiastic about it. And they're like, listen, the more of us you give it to, the better odds that we'll get through to the management and have them contact you. So I gave 3 business cards out. They already make trading cards for their stationary steam engines, which I thought was really, really neat.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the other corner, we have everyone's favorite 062, Uinta 21.
Yeah.
So, you get first dibs, Mew. Do you want to represent either of these?
You know what? What the heck? I'll do Hawaii 5.
All right.
Do you happen to have the local base number though? Because I don't.
It's linked in the table on the document.
Oh, I'm blind. Let me pull it up.
It's okay. I just threw those hyperlinks
there
in
it
there.
is.
All right. Who's gonna do? Too bad Milky's not here. He would love to do 20 or 21. Spoilers for.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay, Jader.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right. You into number 21 versus Hawaii 5-0. Well, 05. 5-0.
Alright.
What number is that? 10? No, it's 1-0.
Yeah.
I have a book with a picture of 1-0 in it somewhere. When I got it, I'm like, oh my! I wish I said I just yelled out 1-0.
1-0.
But anyway,
Alright. Who should we give the ball to
I
first?
don't know who's gonna have I feel like I want to give it to Mew because Mew has much less experience in this game. By much less, I mean none.
That's fair.
Exactly.
Alrighty.
that's fine with me.
Oh crap! I can't. I'm stuck in the search menu in Discord. All right, I'm out. Okay, yeah. So Mew, you just need to call a stat from the list on SteamLocomotive.com. you name it off, and then Jader will give you his number, and then you can give him your number.
Okay. Let me see here.
Something
Well,
that you think
there's
you'll win based on the pictures.
and there's some that aren't valid, right? Like engine wheelbase.
No, that's the only ones that you cannot call are gauge, country, and gauge, country, white, railroad, and numbers.
Class.
Oh,
Yeah,
road
and
numbers.
class. Yeah, and road numbers. Yeah,
Okay. You know what the heck? Engine wheelbase.
engine wheelbase.
Okay.
Jader.
13.17 feet.
15.17 feet.
Okay, that's a point for Jader.
Yay, tank engine.
Tank engine smaller is better. I mean, that doesn't.
Oh.
It's not the fact that you are a tank engine that helps you. It's the fact that 5 being a 242 has a leading and trailing truck.
Yeah.
So it's a little less compact on the engine side. All right, Jader, your
Okay.
turn.
Let's do overall wheelbase.
Overall wheelbase.
33.42 feet.
13.17.
Yeah. So there's the
Mm,
tank engine.
mm,
That's
mm.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Jader.
Weight on drivers.
23,800 pounds.
Can't. 60,570 pounds.
60 versus 23.
That's,
Oh
that's
my
what it says in.
Goodness. Well, I guess tank engine be like,
Tank
Yeah.
engine and also another axle.
yeah. But
So-
oof.
Like,
I chose poorly.
Well, now it's
Yeah.
View's turn.
Engine weight.
Oof. Oh wait.
68,670.
37,300.
What is
Okay.
yours made of? Paper?
tiny.
It's small.
It has a
It's
tender.
a small bean.
This
This
is a
is-
toy.
This is why I thought it would be good against number 8 because it's just tiny.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the engineer hanging or the fireman hanging out of the cab there, it puts into perspective how small this is. All right.
Also,
Muse.
as a note, sorry, I put this in the chat, but we forgot to mention that Kama is all stub switches.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a fun
Nice.
one.
And I was thinking about it. I was like, why would they do that? But I realized that it's probably way cheaper
Yeah.
It is.
True.
It is
true.
way cheaper.
because you don't have to find the frog.
Points and yeah. Anyway, Mew, it's your turn
Just,
again.
just have to make sure you line it up right. I think I'll. Considering that you went as a tank engine, should we skip tender loaded weight and total engine and tender weight?
Well, you should skip tender loaded weight because you
Yeah.
will lose.
True, true. You know what the heck? Total engine and tender weight.
68,670.
61,800.
Okay,
my
yeah, there you go.
All right.
Tiny.
It's so.
I was like,
Yeah.
Mew, why would you do that? And then I
Some more-
realized-
no, that's well played. All right, Mew, it's still your turn.
Okay. It says tender, but I guess water capacity.
Uh, oh my god. 970 gallons.
900.
Oh wow!
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's 3-3. The Uinta boy has more
Okay.
water
Okay.
running in the desert.
Yeah.
All right, bet.
Wait, is that with or without auxiliary water?
That
tenders?
is without.
Whip, you would be losing horribly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jader.
Okay. Hmm. No. No.
We need a new build. 062.
What do we do? I don't know.
Do I really have to give a shout to Mark later?
Bill,
Well, when
Bill
we
Hewitt to 22.
when we start the Boston Revere Beach and Lynn
Trust.
Historical Society, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
Just make it
Okay.
Uinta because everyone loves Uinta.
You
I
into
think
what
I'm
it's
gonna. No,
you-
not gonna. I can do that.
You went to, but it's in Boston.
Yeah, I was about to say you into when it goes up Wachusett Mountain.
Okay. To be
Hey,
fair,
Michigan has a DNRGW loco.
that and also, where's that new main two-footer being built?
Bridgeton and Saco, or Bridgeton.
Wales?
The Rangeley Lake stuff.
Oh,
In freaking Britain.
Oh yeah, the Brecon
So-
Mountain. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
they already
yeah.
had 2 foot.
Okay,
It's what the
okay.
people want.
yep. All right, Jader,
This-
you have
this-
a question?
Probably
Sorry.
won't go well, but yeah, let's try it. Fuel capacity.
Oh, this you can't call it. You can't call it.
Oh,
Oh
right.
my- Right,
You're
we're
coal
oil.
and he's oil.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Um,
because people ride on the tender at Kama.
minimum weight of rail.
Sorry, minimum weight of rail was it?
Mm-hmm.
20 pounds per yard.
Oh God. 34.
I don't know how you thought you could have won that being so much
Yeah.
heavier.
I didn't think about that
All right,
because there isn't much I can win here.
it's your. I think there's plenty of stuff you can win.
Driver wheelbase.
Didn't we? Oh no, wait, no, we didn't do that. 7.25.
4.
4. And now you have 5 points for number 5. Continue.
Yay.
Bro.
Question.
Go on.
For ratio of driving wheelbase to overall engine wheelbase, is a higher ratio better or lower?
Higher.
Okay. Even though I probably just gave myself away, boiler pressure.
Okay. 180.
Ooh, 165.
165. Okay. All right. Well, there's the point for the Uinta boy. It's 4-5. Jader.
Tractive effort.
Oh,
There we go.
5,454 pounds.
Wow, those are rookie numbers.
Oh, yeah.
13,689 pounds.
oh my
There
God.
we
yeah.
go.
This is why we need one. This is why we need another new build. This could hold more than Eureka up the cats. That's for sure. Or up the
Yep.
DNS.
Just this, that new build, and like, how many new builds can we make of the Uinta coaches? Because we only have the one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
It's
we
50.
just steal the Uinta coach.
Yeah. No, we just take. I mean, I'm sure.
Jeff won't mind.
Just,
I'm-
just don't tell Weibold.
Oh no, I'm sure he'd
No,
be.
no. We'll bribe Weibel.
Yeah,
You want to take the front of this thing?
with fruit pastilles. Anyway, whose turn is it? Jader, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Mr. Rookie
Okay.
numbers.
Cylinders.
Oh,
Oh, the
diameter and stroke.
yeah, 10 inches by 14 inches.
13 by 18.
Oh wow. It's the funny thing is they don't look that much bigger, but they are so much bigger.
Hmm.
All right, there's
11
11 points of the board. Jader.
Okay. Factor of adhesion.
Oh,
4.36.
Oh crap. 4.42.
oh,
Not great.
6-6. That was a
Oh
gamble.
boy.
All right, your turn. You.
Okay.
Let's see.
I think. Let's see. Flue/tube length.
Okay.
I don't know about this one.
8.25 feet.
7.33.
It's small. DJ, maybe you were right. Oops, I just gave that to the wrong person. All right,
I think.
Jader.
Firebox area.
35 square feet.
49 square feet.
Oh boy.
Great area.
7.6 square feet.
9.25 square feet.
All right, 9 to 6.
Evaporative heating surface.
281 square feet.
509 square feet.
Oof.
Wow. Sitting a lot in a small package.
Let's see. Don't have that. Evaporative heating surface divided
I
by
mean, it's for the
cylinder
UN
volume.
God.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got to go
Two-
up the side of a mountain.
221.26.
183.75. I don't know what's better.
183. Ouch. All right, that's a point from you. It's 7 to 10.
Damn.
Okay. Did we do driver diameter yet?
Nope.
Oh,
Driver diameter.
okay. 34 inches.
36 inches.
Bruh.
They look so much bigger on 5.
Yeah.
They look
Oh,
so
definitely.
much bigger.
Yes.
I definitely, you know what, TJ, I do want to see this thing versus, like, 8. Or one of the prairies, maybe.
I would
I was
like to
telling-
see it.
I kept telling Mew that it looks like if you just like took the boiler off of 5 and put it on a 2-foot warranty, it would be very similar looking to 8.
Yeah, it's so much smaller than it felt like. I didn't want to do a 2-foot versus 3-foot, but I think I'm gonna have to put it up there for future.
And then I think I put the curse suggestion, put another 4-foot driving set and make it a 3-foot scoops.
Yes.
That would be adorable.
Yes. I'm here for that.
All right,
I was
you,
more
it's
thinking.
Thinking. Valve gear is a valid one?
that's a valid one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Valve gear.
Stevenson.
Stephenson as well.
All right,
Yeah, that's
as a
valid.
tie, it goes to Jader.
Okay.
Okay. Robert Lemessien's power computation.
Oh boy.
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do.
1254.
1665.
Okay, I'm calling Baldwin customer support, asking them why they didn't put the frames in more.
All right, Jader.
Same as above, but substitute firebox area for great area.
5775.
8820.
8820.
Damn.
That's 20 points on the board. We can go to style points. That's up to Jader.
Let's keep going.
I had a feeling.
Yep.
Okay.
These both.
Power
Yes.
L1.
L1, 3555.
What?
3555.
Jader.
2,776.
What?
Bruh.
L1 does not like you.
Okay then. It is
I took the
9
L
to
on-
12. The
I took
ball is
the
back
L.
in Muse Court. How the hell?
I don't know.
Tyler,
Not
explain.
question the equation.
No, I'm questioning the equations.
I genuinely do not think I can come back from this because of how few things are left. May as well just do power MT.
Oh boy.
303.12.
658.61.
Wow.
What are the okay? What are those last two? What do they mean?
The Power L1 is just a bunch of math. Power MT is Power L1 divided by average axle loading. Which, because Jader's so much heavier, it cut it down much more. But I was worried because Jader has 3 axles and you has 2. Driving axles anyway. But still, wow.
Yeah, but 5 doesn't carry its fuel and water
Yeah,
on its
exactly.
back.
Anyway, It's your turn. You can decide to call a stat or go to style points.
Actually, one question.
You,
Your special power calculation. What does it take into account?
Oh, it's engine weight, or sorry, weight on drivers divided by engine weight. It's just how much of your it's just how much of your engine weight is on your drivers.
Oh. Yeah, no, let's go to style points.
Okay.
Okay.
We gonna do.
Yeah, we do need to do judge's choice first. Let's see what is available. I mean, there are
all
a
right,
bunch of things that are
I'm gonna do Ellis Tomelia's power competition.
or weight computation.
No.
Okay, yeah. Weight on drivers divided by engine weight. If you go to the table on the document, there's a link that says local royale. That'll bring you to the old sheet. There's a calculator on there. You can put in weight on drivers and engine weight, and it'll give you the answer.
Okay, stand by.
What do I want to call? I know what I want to call. I'll call something chaotic.
Oh no.
I want to call Conrail.
Always.
Engine weight, not including the tender.
Yeah, just engine weight,
Okay.
not
Okay, I see.
5, 7.
Okay.
0.64.
So for me,
Engine weight.
0.64 for you, and then Jader's I think is going to be a lot better because it's 60 against 68,000. Yeah, 0.88. Wow, that's good. Okay, so that might be the best number we've seen for a locomotive that wasn't just a 1. Alright, so there's a point there. I think I'm going to call tubes.
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 Jader, what are your tubes?
123. Yeah, 123 at 1 3/4 inches.
Oof,
Small.
only 74 at 1 3/4 inches.
Oh, okay. Well, there's another point. I just wasn't sure if someone would have even smaller tubes. That's what I was trying to
Oh.
suss out. Neither of you have a superheater, right?
I
Right.
don't.
Ellis, you think they would superheat either of these?
I'm just asking. I'm covering my bases. No, I don't think they would.
Alright. Question for the both of you. Number built.
Oh, God.
Oof. 1.
2.
Bruh. That was a loaded question.
Extra point for the you into lad. Well, style points. Does anybody have any style points they want to announce right off the bat?
5 is still operating.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is still preserved in operation a style point?
Yes, in fact, it's 2
that's fair.
separate style points.
Is there any other logo wherefore the public
Wait, I have
ride on?
I have
Yeah.
a trains model.
Just
Oh.
5 of a trains model?
Not that I know of. I never played trains though, so
Alright. Well, that's fair. That's a
Well,
style point. Yeah,
It should be Tyler.
I do think
No, what?
being able to ride on the tender is a style point.
I was gonna say, yeah. Can you think of any other loco where the normal excursion is riding on the tender?
Just having the railings is enough, you know?
Fair.
It's not necessarily that you can ride up there, it's just the safety point.
I take it they're not FRA.
No,
Yeah.
no. I don't
No.
think you could have... Can you have stub switches and be FRA?
I don't know.
You can.
Okay.
WWNF?
Oh, wait,
No,
yeah,
you don't
EBT has a few.
EVT, I
Oh.
think there are some that are connected. They're not on the DNS's main line, but
I'm pretty sure the WWF got rid of the sub switch.
Yep, they definitely do.
Yeah.
the yard up in Silverton has some stubs.
Alright, any other style
from
points?
Durango?
It's 13 to 16.
Let me see. Let me get a look at this bad boy.
Came all the way from Hawaii and made its way to the East Coast?
Well, yeah, it was at the Cumbres and Toltec, and they didn't keep it. Is that a style point?
I mean, it's not necessarily... Because usually we give points for service in different countries, but
It's all in the same country.
I'm just
I
thinking
could-
like distance traveled, not in operation, but where it started from to where it now is.
Yeah, I would give that point, but also we have given points. Haven't we given points for a locomotive living on the same railroad for its entire life?
Yes, I believe so.
So- So that's I'll give you both points, but it's a wash because
Right.
the 20 and 21 never left the Uinta, which is
Does,
a crying shame.
does-
However,
You-
they never survived,
Yes.
so that's
Does-
why it never left the Uinta.
What was that, TJ?
Do the Uinta boys have white walls?
Uh,
I don't know what kind of.
Yeah,
I
I don't.
think they were
doesn't
in like a
look like it.
greenish with some pinstriping at some point. I think.
I mean,
Yeah, they were in Baldwin green with
Of course they
the
were.
accompanying lining.
Well, 5
I mean-
is green too, so
Yeah.
That's true.
not just the white walls. It is green.
I can tell this. I can't tell if these are white walls or not.
I do want to say that.
Yeah, those are white walls.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
white
those
walls.
are. I
Um,
was
also,
looking
I
at
love this
the-
photo. Just putting that out there. An average day for you into 20.
Yeah.
Who's on the-
I love how
Ooh.
I Google searched you into 20, and the 11th result is RGS 20.
Nice.
She's coming for you. You know what
Dude,
five
the
has?
the ninth result is friggin' main 2-foot.
Oh yeah.
Just the Uinta didn't use marker lamps, did they?
Ooh,
I don't
doesn't
know
look
if
like
they
it.
afford marker lamps.
I don't think they did.
Probably
I'm not
I'm
sure I've
not-
ever seen a Uinta locomotive with marker lamps.
Does 21 even have flag mounts? Oh, it would probably
It
be on
does.
the pilot.
Yeah, it does have mounts for that. That's a
It probably-
requirement for daytime operations.
Fair, fair. Yeah, I'm not seeing any marker lamps though.
Yeah, so that means 5 has markers, and you know what else 5 has?
Doors?
Dynamo?
Doors.
Door. Wait.
TJ got it.
This is true.
It's got them doors.
Notes on 20 as built though. It does have the fluted cap to the stack.
Oh, it does?
And a dart.
It's got like
Yeah.
polished cylinder heads.
Hold on, did you just say it has a dart?
Yeah. Let me for the photo.
Wait, oh my
if you
God,
look
you're right.
right
Oh
behind
my god, I see it.
the number plate, yeah.
Irideschisms.
What the heck? How long did it last like this?
They kept the mechanism, but then they put in dogs to augment after a while.
Alright, well,
Wow.
okay then. Oh, they also raised the bunker.
Yeah. They did the Uinta made it their own.
Yes, as
Is the
they
nicest
are
way of
wont to
putting it.
do.
Where's Conrail fan? That's on a Seaboard flat car.
Oh, neat. At
Mhm.
Siebes. Yeah, so Uinta has the dart. Although I think I'm gonna discount that because of them put the dogs on it.
Yeah. That's fair.
Doesn't really help them any. Did 5 have a backing light when we were up there?
I can check my my videos. Give me a second.
Don't remember it having one. Oh, here's. Oh yeah, I see it. Never mind. Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
21
Dynam?
and 20 both had them.
Yeah, they both had them. Like, because everyone had them.
Yeah.
I was just checking that.
Existence of a dynamo? I'm not seeing it on 21. At least in these.
Yeah.
Wait, am I blind?
They had them in later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm using the picture of 21 as it stands, like, at this point in time, right? It's got the dogs, it doesn't have the fluting, it does have an electric headlight, so we know it's got to have a dynamo, even if you can't see it. I think it would have been in front of the
Right.
cab, but it was probably removed at the time of this photo.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see its little platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody has polling
Oh, yeah.
pockets, which is something.
True.
And I think
Well,
both locomotives have a split knuckle.
Looks like
Yep.
it.
Yep.
yep.
I think that's it. I can't think of anything
I got
else.
nothing.
It's 18 to
I've-
16.
I
I'm
am
gonna
curious though. When were you built?
Mine,
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, 1925.
you're kidding me, right?
Let me
Nope.
double check.
It's 1925.
Shit.
Yeah, and you are 1905,
Right.
right?
1905. Yeah.
That's why
Does,
that's why I okayed this.
does 21 have an air compressor?
Mm-hmm. It's on the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, I could see the hoses at least, so we know it has air. I don't know how you would survive Baxter Pass without it, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
I don't know,
looking at
Ugh.
looking at
Handbrakes.
the camera's photos of back when 5 was in operation in Hawaii, still no polling pockets.
The only the only way they reduced the danger on the Uinta was by not having polling pockets.
Yeah, the Uinta is something, all right.
Hmm.
Does the 5 get a style point for being owned by a surgeon?
No. Neat though. But I'm gonna call it there at 18 to 16. I think this was actually a pretty fair, reasonable fight.
Yeah.
And so, who are we voting for? I mean, I'm pretty sure I know who I'm voting for.
Ellis, this is Scott. I usually can predict who Ellis is going to vote for, but today I don't know.
Uh,
TJ, who are you voting for?
I'm voting for 5.
As much as I enjoyed running around on Five's tender, the Uinta has had a special place in my heart since I was very little. So, I have to vote for 21.
Yay.
I'm gonna vote for you into
You don't
21.
get a vote.
Ah, even if it's against myself.
Yes, even if it's against yourself. Tyler, what's your tiebreaker?
I mean, I'll allow it.
Give me the tiny little escort that can actually do something.
Yeah,
20.
Okay.
it's fair. I mean, I love 5. It's a really cute engine, but the 062s on the Uinta are really something special.
Well,
Alright,
my technical assessment has been push in the frames of 5, push in the drivers of 5, make it really useful, send it to main.
Yes. I was
They already
honestly
have to-
surprised it wasn't 30-inch.
Also, new build
You know-
22.
Yes.
The Uinta 22.
I already have to
Please.
cut one thing in half, okay?
Yeah, they got to get a low. All right, we're only 13 minutes behind schedule. What do we want to? Oh, you know what? The string line should be happening like right now.
Shit, I gotta get in contact with my guy.
Who wants to take off for the discussion topics? I mean, do we want to do? Speaking of train wrecks or sabotage or whatever, Jay, do you want to do your article first?
Yeah. So
Jesse.
this was so May 19th. This was
2 days
Friday.
ago. Or
Yeah, it's 2
yesterday.
days ago. Friday. So a hopper car loaded with 30 tons of wow, words are hard. Ammonium nitrate, chemical used for fertilizer and in explosives,
Yep.
was empty when it arrived at its destination sometime in April. And TLDR, nobody knows why or how. It
I
was
love
emptied sometime en route, sometime between when it was loaded and destination. Nobody knows why.
I mean, I appreciate the incredibly zany, clearly someone stole all the ammonium nitrate during transit.
Well, the fact that they're saying someone stole it leads me to believe that there's no mechanical faults with the
I mean-
rolling stock.
Yeah, but who is saying that? The article just says that the company believes a leak may have developed in transit. The FRA suggests one of the gates are not possibly closed. No one official is saying we think it got stolen. It's just wild foamer speculation.
Look, man, people just want to see trains getting robbed. It's a tale as old as time.
I mean, that is true.
It is one of the first motion pictures.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Pe-
the
people
first
like-
motion picture
people
was
like Robbing
was a train?
trains.
Yeah.
people thought they were going to get hit by a train, and they jumped out of their seats in the cinema.
And then they liked that movie where they actually stole the train.
Oh yeah,
The
the
Tough
People
general.
like
Guys?
trains.
That's general.
The 1925 silent film Tough Guys with Ford 449. I can just
Yes, of
imagine.
course.
I mean,
765 Great Train Robbery or whatever it's called.
yes, exactly.
587 The Great Train Robbery.
Yeah, we need the sequel with 765.
God.
Actually, we need the sequel with shoot. what would-
1309.
Yeah, I was gonna say what would be a good engine for this. 1309.
4014.
We're
up to steal the
okay,
big boy.
so no.
With
to keep this
Hawaii
the theme of
5.
the episode, what we have to do is we have to steal 5, but we have
Yes.
to develop some sort of like crane system that puts like a dual gauge third rail in as it's going down the track, and then picks it up
No, hold on a
Behind.
minute.
so that
What?
they can just like. So you.
No, you just rolled
So-
onto
I need the
a flat
Wallace and
car.
Gromit gif.
Yeah, so like
Uh,
so it's like placing the 3-foot rail on standard gauge track, so that you're
Okay.
making dual gauge, so that the
Hold
engine
on.
can go over it, and then they pick it up after it goes over.
I just
No.
Train
TJ,
cannon.
TJ,
What
you're
you do-
overthinking this.
very simple thing. Build a ramp. No.
yes, yes, Jay, yes.
Even simpler, right? Build a ramp up. You have the flat car there. You have a decently sized buffer. You run the engine at full speed up the ramp. It hits the end of the buffer. You have the brakes off on the car. Inertia just sends it going.
we
So
call this
baritone.
we call this the skateboard method.
Yeah.
Insert tropical fruit at Thanksgiving dinner here.
You know what, though? This just... I am, like, reasonably certain that it was just human error, or even just a defect led to the thing opening up and slowly spilling the contents as it drove along. And that just makes me think that somewhere out there there's... You guys remember that, like, a year ago, maybe, or, several months ago? There was the hopper that was just spilling corn, and it just filled the gauge with corn.
Mhm.
I posted the picture of it above the skateboard. It's this, except it's explosives.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm
Like-
certain.
Like it just wasn't sealed or something.
What
mean,
the heck?
Because the
is-
car
Oh
made it.
my god, that is
What
weird.
the hell is this, Trader?
One of those in real life. I love it.
This
know
is
he
how
had
you
to-
do gauge conversion in live Steve. This is incredible.
Yes. Yes.
What? I'm so confused.
Okay.
What's
The
gonna happen
engine on
next
top
time?
is of a smaller gauge, but where he's running doesn't have that gauge, so a conversion car.
I have
I mean,
a really important question.
What's that?
Can you put this on top of another conversion car?
Oh my god. All the way up to standard gauge.
know-
Yes. Do it. Fund it.
Pullman
good.
horror, you bastard.
This is
Yes.
this is what we need to do. This is our pyramid scheme. We need to get on Shark Tank.
No.
Yes. All right.
What?
Anyway, yeah, there we go. There's another one.
Next time Hem shows up to the Providence Northern.
Yes.
As a converter, the 040.
Oh my
An awful, an
God,
awful.
What is the white notation for this? What is
The
the white
white
notation for
notation
wheels on top of other wheels?
It's 060,
Nerd.
enter 060.
Enter.
No. I've got this.
Oh God. That's so good. Well, anyway, yeah, I feel like we've.
Carload of ammonium. Yeah, carload of ammonium nitrate. Just. I don't think somebody actually stole it.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this ammonium nitrate gauge. Oh crap! I closed out the cargoes.
Oof.
Anyway, we're gonna put the ammonium nitrate thing in the cargoes. If you want to read about it, there's not a ton of information.
Jesse.
The conspiracy theorist in me says there's not a lot of information because they're definitely covering up the fact that someone stole this carload of.
The CIA stole the ammonium nitrate.
Yeah, they're gonna put it in Castro's cigar.
Yeah, they're gonna frame the leftist movement in our country.
I mean, they probably would find a way to do that. Let's be real.
Sprinkle some ammonium nitrate on him.
I don't know how they would even steal
It's
it.
gonna be anthrax scare too.
Well, I don't know what. It doesn't say what kind of hopper it was. The only thing I could figure is if they got one of those. You know how they unload like a hopper load of grain where they don't have an unloader? You just have like a truck pull up with a vacuum hose and it clips onto the side of the bottom of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Ellis, it was totally an open top hopper. Some guy just jumped in and shoveled it out.
Yeah, I
bag
was
by
thinking
bag.
like a helicopter with like one of those buckets they use for getting water for forest fires. They're just scooping ammonium nitrate out of the car while it's in transit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing. I'm just figuring, like, I don't know how you would be able to steal anything from this. I'm not saying it's not possible, but unless you're going to steal more than, like, a single tote bag's worth of ammonium nitrate.
Okay.
You need
You
Your equipment.
okay?
Yeah.
You get a bunch of gutter materials for like housing,
Yeah.
and you put it next to the track, and then you open on a dead stretch of track, and then you open the hopper door thing on the direction of the gutter, and then all of the ammonium nitrate spills into your gutters.
This
And
is
then you
just the worst kind of track pan.
yeah, and then you
This is-
you just spend 12 hours shoveling it up into the flatbed of your truck or something.
I just love the idea that, like, this principle could now be applied in reverse if you think about it. You have these troughs of corn or ammonium nitrate, and you have your hopper cars with scoops on them, and you just drive them down the main line.
Yeah, no, trucks just back up to the rails and then just dump it onto the track.
Yeah. I don't really see a way this can go wrong. I like this idea.
I
Yeah,
don't
this
either.
I could see several problems.
Okay, well, we didn't ask you. Tyler.
We don't want to hear it. Thank you. We want to
No,
hear
don't-
about
I think
Don't
we have our
kill our
minds,
dreams.
minds sold on this.
we don't want to hear about problems. We want to hear about solutions. Tyler.
Okay. You want a solution?
I do want a solution.
I'll give you a solution.
It's
called money.
What is the money for?
The money. Thankfully, the Bernard and Ann Spitzer Charitable Trust has granted the Danbury Road Museum $20,000 towards relocating both of their NYC electrics. These lovely little
Yay.
things that we've been
Thank
keeping an eye on for a while
God.
because holy cow, this not a tale as old as time, but a tale probably a
Tail
little
of-
over half as old as New York.
About 15 or 16 years old.
Down to the wire.
Yeah, well, not down to the wire right now. They're
Well, it had been, I mean.
It was I thought that was just a pun.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, that too.
yeah.
Okay. Straight to
So-
Gulag.
Sure it was.
But
Yeah, right now-
$20,000 is that? I assume that is enough.
Yeah, well, we will never be satisfied.
Yeah, it says
But
when the permanent access road is complete, they'll be trucked out and home to Danbury. I wouldn't call that
Yeah.
home, but sure.
so again,
Yeah, to pose it right
update-
next to the FL9
yes.
in New York Central colors. Home.
Put them next to the mogul. Do it
Yes.
no balls. But so update for well, not update, but quick refresher. These two have been stuck in a very odd spot of land for quite a while, with no rail access and road access basically non-existent for a while, and then
Yeah.
this is what, like a year ago that they're starting to do development over there, and they had to get out.
Yep.
So again, access road that's still being built. Once that's built, these two can head back to their new home base, and I assume, considering how much trucking is, and also how much has already been donated before, there's probably a fair bit towards not just the relocation, but the restoration thereof.
Well,
Yeah, 'cause-
this is assuming that, because as they established before, they can't just truck these from point A to point B.
Yeah.
The
You
S
gotta
motor,
take them apart.
yeah, the S motor, I think they said could be, right? Or was it the T motor could be disassembled and then trucked? But the
Mhm.
S motor has to go on rails because it's too big to get trucked into downtown. One of the two.
That's
Um,
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was one of them they had to divide into like 3 pieces or something to truck it.
Well, they needed to take the T motor apart to truck it out. So I'm not remembering. I'm not totally remembering, but
Mhm.
I think it was the T motor because it's much larger. Disassembling it, trucking it out, reassembling it in the port of Albany, and then shipping it by rail from there once they've got it all greased up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Again, I just don't remember which one is the problem one, but one of them had to go by rail because they couldn't get it into downtown any other way.
So wait, did they say by rail how? If it's like just towed behind a freight train or loaded onto a flat car?
Well, I think it would be too big to be loaded onto a flat car either way. Or maybe the T motor disassembled could be loaded onto flat cars and taken. But
Yeah.
don't-
Well, you know what? We
What?
can figure that out when I go for my 2 free cab rides.
That's true. That's true, and I wanted to talk
True.
about Danbury a little bit because they do, instead of like they do a hand on the throttle, but because they don't have like a right of way to run excursions, their hand on the throttle is you get to assemble a freight train in their yard,
Oh, that's
Which-
kind of cool.
which is really cool.
Oh yeah.
It's a
Well,
real
I think-
making lemonade out of lemons sort of situation.
I think
Yeah.
you had the best idea to come of that situation.
Oh,
was
you
that?
mean the Inglenook?
Yeah.
Make it the Inglenook switching puzzle.
Yeah.
Basically, if you've heard of the model train time saver thing, it's like that, except not. Let me get a picture up.
So
Like I've
I
heard the
can-
name Inglenook, but I can only barely picture it.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is I get to play full-size model trains for $400 to do like a 3.5
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
Basically, yes. Okay,
Oh, wait, no, it's
there's.
3.5 hours.
It's really
Yeah.
cool.
It depends how much you're willing to pay extra. So there in the chat, Single Nook sightings. Basically, the idea is you can see one stub holds 5 cars. The other 2 can hold 5 cars. I mean, the other 2 can hold 3 cars each. And the mainline stub, I think it's the Locomotive and 3 or 4 cars it can hold. And the idea is on the 5-car stub, you have to arrange it so you have 5 certain cars in a certain order. And that can be randomized to whatever you want.
That is cool, actually. Yeah, I've never done an Inglenook. Now I want to, and I definitely want to do it in in Danbury.
Whenever I eventually get my own house to build a model layout, I want to put an Inglenook for op sessions.
I
Oh yeah,
would love
And
to.
that-
We all need to get together and go to Danbury and use the stuff that we won at the booth. Well, I got a pencil, but you got TJ got cab rides, Gloria got free entry. So
I decided to refrain from spinning the wheel just because I'm closer. And so I can go relatively more often than you guys can.
hey, you should have done it.
Wait, you saw a wheel and you didn't spin it.
Yeah, no, we walked into
I know, right?
to the show, and that was the first thing I saw. I almost beelined for the wheel.
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
I decided, you know what? I'll support them a bit. I'll pay instead of getting free stuff this time.
All right. Anyway, yeah, looking forward to Danbury trying to move this stuff, and actually getting it out of where it is. And I will, I'll do my best to try to follow the, the progress of it. But also, I'll do my best to physically follow it. Also, I would love to chase the move of the T motor or the S motor, whichever one has to go by rail.
That
Also,
would be the Spider, I believe.
The
also
bigger one.
the Conway Scenic received a bunch of new stuff. This is only tangentially related, but just like things I would have loved to chase had I known about it. The Conway Scenic brought in a couple new cars over their, over their interchange up at the balls, which it's such a long way around to bring stuff to get them out of the Conway Scenic. But they got a baggage car and a some other thing. Oh, they're going to turn it into a head-end power car.
Right. Do they have like indoor shops for painting and stuff? Because if not, I might see them this Saturday.
What, Conway?
Yeah, I'm heading up there.
I would keep an eye out for them. They've got a decent shops complex, but I don't know where they're going to be keeping them.
They have a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah,
Conway. Has there been any updates on the Steam set?
No, but when I did talk to them, they were just like, "We're gonna be working on 501 soon."
Yeah.
So they're excited. They're excited. They're looking forward to it.
Restored and running up the mountain gobbles.
Yeah. I thought about them again when Jader, you were talking about getting the new diesel in, because are you getting that over rail?
As far as I know.
Okay.
It's kind of a roundabout way. I think it's on. I want to say it's on NS or like off of NS.
Mm-hmm.
Then it needs to go to CSX. Then it goes to a short line, and then the short line connects with us.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I know you guys have that connection, but it's all grassed over.
The short line doesn't own you guys, do they?
No.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where the border is though, and the connection, like I think it's just for shipping stuff in and out. Like we don't run passenger trains over it. I'd like to, but
okay. So I'm gonna go to. Obviously, I need to go visit you, Jader. I need to go to Conway to see all this stuff. I need to go to Danbury for all those reasons. I also need to go to Scranton because they just got the PA also. Speaking of stuff getting
screams internally.
Yeah, stuff getting shipped long distances. The photos of the PA on its cross-country journey are some of the funniest things I've ever seen because it looks so out of place.
It's just like, I'm here too, I'm helping.
Yeah. Need to write up the Horseman Chronicles version of this. Although the PA in the Horseman Chronicles universe wouldn't have been in Oregon anyway, probably.
Right, it would have gone straight away, right?
It would have stayed on the D&H. Anyway,
Okay.
But yeah, the PA, the Conway Scenic things, Danbury, everybody's getting new stuff, except for WMSR, which is getting rid of stuff. But
Good.
But Danbury wasn't the only people to get a chunk of change. Isn't that right?
Yep, that's
Quite
right.
true. Silvis got some money. Oh, and it turns out both the Silvis links are to the same thing, so
yes.
we're going for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Railroading Heritage of Midwest America over in Silvis. They finally pulled out the last flue tubes from 5511, so they got a bunch of money supporting that from UP executive. I don't remember the guy's name, I'm afraid.
It should be in the other article about 197.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'll transition to that once we get there. But yeah, they've started doing important boiler work on 5511. They already started pulling 3985's tubes before that, right?
Yeah, they're working on them in tandem, it seems, which is kind of weird to me because they made it sound like it's going to be working for 3985, then we'll see what 5511's like.
Yeah.
And then they just come out with, oh yeah, we pulled all the tubes out.
Yeah. They're both planning. They're planning to run both on Iowa Interstate, right? Or nothing official, technically.
I'm not sure if they've stated Iowa Interstate in particular, but they have stated intention is to get both operational.
Right.
Well, I'm sure UP would never let them run on their track.
Well, UP is over here playing very chummy because the current thing is, I forget if it's actually UP's gonna fix up the old 4014's tender or something like that. Either way, they're doing the tender swap. That's
Oh, I was
happening.
gonna say I didn't know they still
They're
had
gonna-
3985's tender. That's really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, they still
last I
have
heard
that.
they did. Yeah.
So
Yeah, because
wait,
they didn't
so-
want to spend time.
3985 got shipped without a tender, or did it get shipped with
It got-
4014's tender?
It got shipped with 4014s
Okay.
because
Was-
essentially they,
Was that
you know, oh, God.
was that part of why they got the grant so that they could also convert to 4014's tender?
No, because the exec, he's a former executive, so he's
Okay.
just doing this as like his, essentially not like playing with trains thing, but like
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's,
hey,
he's doing
Helping
the
other people play with trains.
he's
in
doing
his
the-
twilight years wants to have some fun,
yeah.
wants to
Uh,
see some things go.
Yeah,
doing
he has
the,
fuck off money.
Lynn Modinger equivalent, or the UP equivalent of Lynn Modinger going, here's $1 million to restore RGS 20. Also, I'm on the board of the CRRM, and I think we should restore RGS 20.
Oh yeah, yep, good old Lynn.
yeah. Also, speaking of
The-
4014, 4014 is on the move again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
they're taking her out again because World Series.
Wait, what?
So, I think it's Swift the World Series. I'd have to check.
I think the Little League World Series. Yeah, they're gonna post it.
Yeah.
They're gonna park her like outside a baseball field.
Oh, okay. Neat. I had no idea that it had anything to do with baseball.
It
Uh,
did, yeah.
Now I understand
Yeah,
why Pat
because
was
it's
so
called-
excited.
Because it's called the Home Run Express.
It is?
Yeah,
That is a good name, though.
it's the college baseball championship.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool. You
not
know what?
Little
It's
League
their
World Series.
locomotive. They
Frat
can do what
boys.
they want with it.
The Frat Boys are here.
Oh, my God.
Let's see here. Who's
Charles-
actually in the running for that now?
I have...
Charles Schwab Field in Omaha.
And what about 197? That was
190
donated... There was a chunk of money donated by the same guy, right?
By the same
Yeah.
guy, yes. Neil Ferris, there's the name. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. John J. Gray.
John J. Gray, the UP in the Smoke Foundation. It's sure going up in smoke, all right.
Fire it up, Mango Gobbles.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He's donating he's promising a 1-to-1 matching grant to get 197 completed. Oregon Railroad and Navigation 197. Up in Portland, where we have a foam magnet 4449, for those who somehow don't know, and Spokane, Portland, and Seattle 700.
700 is pretty cool. I
Yeah.
want to see 700
Yeah.
fired up again, Mango Gobbles. But
You
They're
know
working
what?
on her.
I would say that because 700 and 4449 weren't they restricted from running because like this stretch of track where they could run can't really support their weight, or they'd have to
Yes,
go to the slope.
That's what I heard.
yeah, the
That's why
Oregon-
last year
Yeah.
they brought in Spokane, Portland, not SPS, was it Polson Logging number 70?
the-
Right.
That's a Mikado, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
but
a
it's
little logging
little,
bike.
yeah.
So would 197 be better suited for that, or would it still
Yes,
be
it-
considered?
It's perfect for what they need essentially at this point. And it's the thing with 197 that you kind of need to realize is it's always been the shop queen in the sad sense of this is the one that we will work on in the spare time, except for the
Right.
small group really dedicated to her. So when 44, 49, and 700, when they weren't doing trips or they weren't getting their 1472s, 197 was the one. But as one can kind of guess, for an organization that literally has those two weather engines there, that hasn't been the case for quite a while. So, especially, this is kind of the thing that I find weird as well with 5511, is these are engines that before we wouldn't really have expected to come out of these organizations being the operational choice. But
Mhm.
the situation when it comes to mainline excursions and other such operations, it is kind of leaning people more towards getting these middle ground locos back in larger numbers.
Here's a
Yay.
here's a thought about 5511 versus 3985 though. 5511 would be restricted in how fast it can run though, right? Being a 210-2.
Yes.
So it makes me wonder if that might cause it to see more operation if they shipped it around to tourist lines where, they can't go as fast. I mean, 5511, it can't really go that fast either, but it can toll a hell of a lot. So if the
Yeah.
trackage could support it, it's like, ooh, track speed, also maxing it out, quote unquote,
I'm gonna look
which
something up really quick.
which could get the foamers in a tizzy.
Yeah.
It's also like, I think it'd be the only operational 210-2 in North America at this point.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Currently, yeah.
I just
Did
don't
that-
know where it would go though.
I should definitely go to the
I mean, yeah.
Cuyahoga.
Yes.
Well, like, okay, where all is our QJs at? You could probably fit 55.
Oh, I forgot
True.
about the QJs. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
aren't they right by Iowa Interstate?
Here we go again.
Silvis? Yeah.
Iowa Interstate has or had one. I
I
forget.
thought they had the two.
They had two.
Yeah,
had
they
two.
have
And one of them's
it's-
alongside 5511.
And then
Yeah.
there was the RJ Corman one that I think is going to be moved.
Kentucky's team.
Yeah, down in Ravenna.
For the record,
Yeah.
the minimum weight of rail of 5511 is 96 pounds, which is pretty reasonable for a locomotive of that size.
However,
Yeah.
what's the minimum radius?
Large.
Yeah,
It's
That-
a
that-
210-2. What do you expect?
Yeah.
yeah. That's the only limiting factor I would feel like.
Mhm.
But that's what that's just something I wanted to look up that I was curious about, because it's gonna be interesting to see these guys ride again.
Definitely.
TJ, do you want
I-
to go before me? I don't have a good way to seg to either of these.
Yeah, I'll go.
All right, yeah, take it away. You've got a
Yeah,
little
so-
smorgasbord of stuff.
Yeah, so well, it's all related to my sort of question, I guess, which is like there seems to be this push to make new trains and expand passenger service, and I think overall that's a net positive, obviously, because more trains are good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't include Brightline, the giant string of Brightline articles. Consider those like alternative set of articles for this question. But who it says who should be owning these railroads? Who should be really like spearheading this?
Me. Obviously.
Yeah, Ellis.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Please put
So-
my name on your railroad deeds. I am very good at Chris Sawyer's locomotion, and
Guys, I win
Brains
at
are.
I win at OpenTTD every time. It's-
Yes.
because obviously we have examples like Brightline, like two radical examples like Brightline, for the private side of the coin, and then we have California High Speed Rail, the Vermonter, the Downeaster on the other side of the spectrum,
Mhm.
and then we have now the FRA is committing to providing funds for inner city passenger rail development.
does it say where?
No, you apply.
Oh, okay.
Like states and entities can apply.
Ah,
Yeah,
apply
if
on.
you
All right, Ellis, let's go apply for one of these.
Yes.
So I guess my question is I don't know. Before we started recording, you mentioned trying to focus my articles around a question that we could discuss,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. What do we think? I mean, Brightline's clearly doing well.
I feel like we're a
Um,
biased bunch of people, but
I mean, yeah, that's
yeah.
podcasting in general.
I don't think we
Yeah.
can deny the success that Brightline has had, but it's important to recognize that Brightline has been, was only able to get off the ground because of a strong backing from its parent company. I love Brightline, but I agree with a lot of people when they say that, like, I wish Brightline existed but was not a private entity, you know? I mean, on the other hand, I wish there were more success stories like Brightline, because I feel like a lot of these, at the end of the day, I don't really care who owns them as long as there's more trains, you know?
Mind
Yeah,
if I
well,
make
that's
a
the thing
counterpoint, Alice?
Yeah, go
If
ahead.
it was privately versus publicly traded, could you? If it was publicly traded, couldn't you get into the issue where they try to please the shareholders and thus service and quality just plummet?
Well, I'm not saying publicly traded, I'm saying publicly owned.
I
I'm not
mean,
necessarily I'm not necessarily worried about publicly traded, but like, Amtrak, for example, being a quasi publicly owned, it's a publicly owned thing. It operates as a private company, but, you know, and all these transit
Okay.
agencies.
okay, I don't know economics. I thought publicly owned meant it was publicly traded.
No,
It's
you can have a,
talking like more governmental ownership in
yeah,
that regard.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
no, public trading is a, yeah, you do get into this problem, but at the end of the day, you have to, as a company, you have to prioritize your longevity. Also, Providence and Worcester auto rack on the camera.
Worcester.
And that isn't what, like the current short-sightedness of a lot of major railroad companies. I feel like is yeah, it's definitely a product of this the shareholder, for the shareholders and our profits mentality.
Well, yeah, that's part of my thing.
That goes
'Cause, like,
back
so,
to
sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
okay. That goes back to there's a problem with some of the legislation around railroading, and we're one of the weird industries that they don't have protections against activist shareholders. There's a term for it. It's like the same thing, like that kind of sort of like what happened with GameStop, where you have like a hedge fund or a large entity that doesn't buy a controlling stake, but they get a decent, decently sized 15-20% foot in the door, and then convince everybody else around them, for basically whatever means necessary, think of the bottom line for the next 2 years, and then like pump and dump out. And there's a lot of protections in other industries against that sort of action, but railroading is not one of them. And that's kind of what we've seen with a couple of these companies. There's a reason why BNSF wasn't so bad for a number of years, because that was almost entirely Berkshire Hathaway, and then
I want to hear what TJ's point was on this thing, but I do want to ask if, not necessarily asking you, just, asking the question. Do we think that lack of consumer protections in the not consumer protections, but, do we think that lack of that kind of legislation exists because the railroads are so, like, foundational to their own laws? They're so old compared to the nation that they're in.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of the failures of legislation around the railroads are just due to the fact that they have so many of these weird oh, well, actually, this law from 1895 that says all railroads can burn money in a pit rather than
reinvest it.
reinvest it. Yeah, like, so you guys can't make new legislation that supersedes that. It's like, it's like all those dudes. It's like sovereign citizens who say like they are governed by common law in England.
Yeah, except in this case, it actually works out for the
Yeah,
railroads.
except in this case, it's actually
it's
real.
It's a sad reality.
The railroad saying, "I have this piece of paper that says I can do whatever I want."
Don't question where I got the paper from.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a copy.
Pretty much.
But yeah, what I was gonna say before when I interrupted Tyler, I was gonna say like one thing that worries me about like the privately owned stuff like Brightline is like a lot of their like foundation is in the real estate market,
Mm.
and like 2008 happened, you know,
Yeah,
like
although they did. East last episode mentioned that the like a certain portion, like the southern portion of Brightline, is turning a profit, and I think that was irrespective of the
yeah,
sort
no,
of.
no, that's the
Yeah.
yeah, that's yeah. Brightline is such a success story that like it make like the more I hear about Brightline doing well, like just on their trains,
Yeah.
not because of real estate, but at the same time, it's like, well, you're still like, you still have a large portion of your original base that's real estate. That's a little concerning.
Yeah, and they also again have the backing of the FEC, which makes a pretty big
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah,
To be
Um,
yeah,
fair, on that front, though, we have examples of companies having different, a varied portfolio and working out very well.
yeah.
Interurbans, for example,
mhm.
those, um, arguably, if there wasn't some legislation in the 1930s that forced them to split off the
The power
electric,
companies.
yeah, their utilities from the interurban company itself, a lot more of the interurbans would have survived.
I still
Which
blame
is, I
General
think,
Motors.
yeah, General
Same.
Motors had a fair part of it, but like
Lobbying.
General Motors was targeting more of the streetcar companies,
Hmm.
inner city, whereas inner city, when you're running all of like the power companies in that area, and you have essentially, because of how power companies work, utilities, you almost have like a virtual monopoly. Um, they were,
Yeah,
you
they
pay
definitely
like a
prevented that.
penny for so much electricity. You can run the interurban so cheap, but then once you're separated from that, you lose lots of money. And
Yeah.
Well,
the
didn't
JR companies,
France, didn't France like build a bunch of power infrastructure just to support the TGV when that got started?
yeah, I believe
That was like
so.
part of. I think that was part of their big nuclear, like push for nuclear, was to
Yeah.
support the TGV.
And that's the thing with the interurbans as well, is they built these large power plants so that they could power the lines, and then it's, oh, we have all those extra wattage, let's sell it to the towns, and it worked out so well. The JR groups in Japan, they run telecommunications, real estate, a bunch of other stuff. It makes up like maybe 30-40% of their profits each year. But it's multi-use of their land, of their infrastructure
Yeah.
that works really well.
Well, I think that that whole aspect of like running a railroad, I don't think that's like exclusive to what a private company could do. I see that as being like a pretty decent argument for, there's a lot of community utility companies propping up. I know I have one forming in my town. Um, it begs the question, if the state owns the trains, if the state owns the power generation, and they wanted to electrify the trains.
It would be a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
I
Mhm.
suppose that's then you
But
have the
also,
interurban.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
yeah,
Exactly. Like that would be it would be basically a governmental way to, or a
mhm,
publicly owned method of funding a electrification project or a rail expansion project or something.
yeah. At the same time, the flip side is, if the private company owns the utility, owns the railroad, then it's also really easy for them, and it's going to be typically kind of the natural progression to the electrification.
It just seems like the state of legislation is just designed to make sure that no matter who owns
Neither,
no matter who owns anything, it doesn't effing work.
yeah,
Um,
essentially.
Everyone with money arguing with each
Yeah.
other and
Yeah,
But
having
I
done
think
everything that's good.
like I think
Yes,
Tyler, like
exactly.
I think if private companies operated with the philosophy that you have, I think we would have less arguments about whether these giant like industries should be owned by the government or by private people.
Yeah,
if there are more FECs and RNNs in the world, uh, that would be that'd be better. Is I
Well,
guess what
letting a
we're getting here.
Isn't Reading and Northern's passenger deal only excursion though, not
It
like commuter service?
it is, but in my outsider opinion, like the railroading style of Andy Mueller and his, sort of relentless drive to make his railroad better at being a railroad is something that all railroads should be aspiring to, and that's not what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
True.
It's currently kind of a race to the bottom, but get the money while it still
Yeah.
still flows.
I do
You've
want to
told
say.
them essentially.
Go
You
ahead.
go.
I just want to cover
I
the
was gonna say-
articles themselves in a second, and then get out of
Yeah.
here.
You've kind of told the industry this is your one path towards like what you can do. Just be the best at what you can do, essentially. And so they're going to do, essentially PSR, what we're seeing, where it's lower your overhead, lower all of your costs. But if you can tell them to, hey, you could do this or that or all the other things, then they're going to have a reason to actually invest a lot more. Or at least that would convince more investors that, hey, I'm going to tell the board, do this.
Well, there was, I think I saw, it's not in here, another article recently that's like some shareholders are even, like it's getting to the point where shareholders are even saying, hey, we got to fix our trains a little bit because now we're starting to see the side effects of,
Yeah,
Exactly.
our shitty idea.
It's
The
now
consequences of our
impacting.
actions.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
if this isn't the consequences of our actions, exactly.
Exactly.
Anyway, I did want to
Isn't
actually.
CN doing the now schedule instead of money? The short of it?
CN is I think we talked about that a little bit. Oh wait, no, I can actually talk about it in the next section because that's
Okay.
this whole thing. It sort of ties into what I wanted to talk about with CPKC and their impacts on the industry going forward.
To wrap this up, sort of with the articles. We're seeing now, state a boom in. Normally, when I personally think of like nationalization or like publicly owned trains, quote unquote, I think of like like at a federal level. But it seems like in the absence of a strong federal passenger railroad, it seems like states are kind of taking it upon themselves to pick up the slack a little bit.
Now they have to.
It seems like because they have to. But it's interesting to see like Kansas is looking into expanding their passenger rail in intrastate, right?
When
Yeah,
it
well,
stays
they're
inside
trying-
the state, yeah.
They're trying to get like maybe some sort of intercity rail or commuter system around Kansas City, which I guess is technically Missouri, not Kansas, but
Well, no, isn't there one on both sides?
I think so, yeah.
I think that's a feud between Missouri and Kansas. Is that you're either in that one or the other one.
In this case, it's the Kansas City, Missouri side, I believe, is this article, and
No,
Associated.
I think the article refers to a project that's taking place on the Missouri side
okay.
to say, hey, the other Kansas City is doing this. We should do this in Kansas.
KCATA submits application for a control license between Topeka and Independence. And then the article starts out with the Kansas City Area Transportation Authority announced Thursday to submit a grant proposal. Okay, yeah. Maybe. Porque no las dos.
Yeah, no, because I think they were saying that the Kansas City, Missouri is getting a new expansion to their streetcar.
That is also happening, yeah.
And so I think they were saying, this momentum in this direction in one of the Kansas cities, so there should be in both of the Kansas cities. But speaking of momentum, the Vermonter it's either the Vermonter or the Ethan Allen Express, one of the two.
I believe it's the Vermont. The Adirondack is back all the way to Montreal, which is the.
Right, that's the one.
Yep.
That one's back in a big way. I think they're scoping to exceed ridership estimates.
Damn.
They're at least going to meet them. I think they might exceed them as well.
Well, the extended Vermonter is also doing incredibly well for it's beating out its expectations.
Yeah. I might be squishing the two together by accident.
Yeah, oh, there's
But,
a lot going on in Vermont. They want to bring that back to Montreal as well, and
Yeah,
if
they're
things are
talking-
going well with the Adirondack, then that's pretty promising.
Yeah, the article talks about they want to eventually build a customs like building rather than having the train stop on a siding and a border patrol guy goes through the entire train and takes like 2 hours.
Yep.
So how
Um,
would that work? Like the last U.S. station and the first Canadian station they have?
I think they
Customs
would.
buildings?
I think they would
It's
just have a
probably, like-
dedicated place in Montreal because it's the only place in Canada it stops.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, you would just get off the train in Montreal, and it's like the airport. You go to the customs thing when you get to
Right.
the
Yep.
destination.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's part of my states are investing and succeeding in their own ventures, sort
It's
of through Amtrak. But
It's about states' rights to own trains.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, is it states' rights or is it the union? You know?
Oh god.
Well, I mean, you do already have examples of that.
Yeah, the
Like,
war of
and-
GM aggression.
NJ Transit, SEPTA. It just sounds like more states wanting to get in on the action.
Well,
Yeah.
again, because they have to. Because Amtrak
Yeah.
requires corridors under a certain length to be state funded. So people are finally clamoring for trains, and the states are having to go, okay, I guess we'll do that.
Yeah, and
Because
Sad
Amtrak
South-
isn't going to.
Sad South Dakota noises.
Yeah, poor
Yeah,
South
I-
Dakota.
I wonder
Sad
how
Ohio
much.
places.
Yeah, I wonder how much of the force that's driving for these new sets of like commuter rail and everything else, state DOTs just
Mhm.
getting mad at fixing all of the roads and adding more lanes.
Well, maybe not even getting
I
mad,
mean-
but sort of realizing how much money they're spending. And
Or
realize
how much little
yeah.
return.
Yeah.
Just exacerbating the problem.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah,
hit a
for what it's
point
worth,
where.
I was-
Sorry, go ahead, Jader.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Grant, I was looking up the Ohio Amtrak thing earlier, and I haven't found anything recent.
We just run 58 on it.
Yeah.
And go gobbles.
Functionally, and I will say this, and I'm not saying that we have hit a hard limit here, but functionally you do run out of reasonable capacity that you can add to interstates, and maybe we're getting close to that. And it's like we could throw an exorbitant amount of money at increasing roadway capacity, or maybe we could try something else. You know, it's getting to the point where there are less dollars to go around for improving interstates and highways, and on top of that, those dollars are becoming less and less effective.
Yeah, no double decker as seen by the big dig. Right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I'm looking at this and going like, people are clamoring to reduce traffic in every way possible, and doing it via roads is functionally getting harder and harder. So maybe there are, these pressures that are kind of subconscious in a sense that are driving U.S. cities and states towards making trains again. I don't know.
Yes.
But we were talking a lot about sort of the state of freight railroads already, and I know that's a big topic, and I was surprised it wouldn't be its own, so I decided to pick up some articles that related to that. Recently, we had CPKC doing their thing. I think last week we talked about the competing services between them and CN with Union Pacific in tow, to try and Ferromex to try and make this competing north-south corridor. Now CPKC is doing something a little bit shorter, where they're doing a Mexico to Chicago, Kansas City, and Texas intermodal trains. This is a 4.5-day service, so I guess that's one train each day. So one day, Monday it goes down, Tuesday it comes up, Wednesday it goes down, that sort of thing.
Okay, I was about to ask each direction, but
I
no.
think, yeah, I think that's what 4.5 day means. Oh no, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I have no idea what it means. I'm not gonna pretend I know what it means. But it's a 4.5 day service, um, and yeah, they're doing dedicated intermodal service along this north-south corridor, which I'm not really surprised that this is where we are. Um,
Yeah.
and CN, I guess, sort of staring down the barrel of a juggernaut, which CPKC it seems to look like it will be. Um,
A railroad that actually wants to railroad.
yeah,
Oh no.
I mean they just have all this room. I mean you plug these two railroads together and they can work really well together, and this is just the natural growth, the result of that. Doesn't really surprise me at all. And CN is saying, "Hey, we are dissecting our our strategy, what they're calling a long train strategy, um, and we're going back to sticking to the schedule. We're going back to, uh, you know, basically trying to run more trains." Is the gist I'm getting out of this. I recommend that people read these articles if they can, but Canadian National details carload and intermodal growth plans. So they're looking at actually growing their number of shipments. I know intermodal has sort of been the cargo to go after, but if they're looking at other things, I think they're looking in the right direction. Um, it sucks operating in the north, especially in the winter, but you're going to see that that's where all the development is. So they're, looking at mining and forestry and such in northeastern British Columbia, but Fort St. John being a rail hub, and yeah, they're expanding a whole lot of unused or underused lines, and like I mentioned earlier, they're doing this partnership. I mean, do we think that this CPKC, that their existence is the shakeup that the Class Ones need, just sort of beyond the incoming demise of the railroads, as we've witnessed it for the last several months or years? And CPKC seems to be doing all the right stuff. Is this what's going to wake the other railroads up?
I hope so.
Possibly.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so.
We need to keep
We
an
can
eye on
only
how
hope.
other railroads are responding to this. I mean, CN and UP and Ferromex doing their thing is just sort of a reactionary competitive thing, but
Come on, do something.
yeah. I will say, though, that apparently there is uh, legislation moving through the sort of Canadian government about what they call extended interswitching, which is what we would call reciprocal switching. And I know when this came up before, it was a topic that everyone was, I I don't remember there being a lot of strong discussion on it, just sort of like that seems dumb and moving on. I feel like I've done a 180 on it. I kind of like the idea. I don't know how you would manage it or legislate it properly, but I think that in order to, if you're gonna have competition in your rail network, you kind of have to do this. Right now, we have just like 6 monopolies in the U.S.
Yeah.
With the north-south corridor being the important exception that we just talked about. But there are not very many markets where you can choose which class 1 you ship over, and that is really screwing with short lines, because they're just under the thumb of these large railroads. I feel like the class 1s have been getting rid of what could be short lines and handing them off, pretty regularly in these last couple of years. And being able to have more than one class 1 access those short lines would probably be a good thing for the industry. Of course, CPKC doesn't like it, because it would make things difficult for them. Uh, and they say that it would give U.S. railways a competitive advantage over Canadian railways, because Canadian railways would have to do interswitching or reciprocal switching. whereas the U.S. has no such legislation right now, at least not any that exists, enacted.
Yeah. The question would be, though, if that goes under just any rail lines in Canadian jurisdiction, or once they cross the border, do you just not have to do reciprocal?
Yeah, I don't imagine they would be able to enforce it in the U.S.
Yeah, because then thinking about it, the only major lines that CPKC has in Canada is the Transcon. Where, like, yeah, you would get stuff at, like, essentially, like, the border, probably, from CN. I don't know exactly how that would work. But then it would just stick on their own network.
Yeah, I feel like if,
So,
for whatever reason, they said, oh, if you're a Canadian company, you have to do reciprocal switching no matter where you are, we would suddenly see CPKC break up into CPKC, CPKC de Mexico, and CPKC de United States. It's like, oh, those aren't part of us. They just happen to share the same initials.
yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I could see it being useful. But at the same time, it is a condition of... I'm thinking of it from the perspective of Western railroading, where it's just like... You have the transcons, and you have the stuff that branches off of that. And then at some point, you have an interchange. But, like, unless you're looking at something like the Denver area, or, I don't know, parts of California especially, then it's really, you're in that one railroad zone.
Yeah.
So... It could be useful in some regards, but they'd have to just be wary.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be a really tough thing to figure out how to legislate that properly. I'm wondering. Yeah. I don't expect this, extended switching thing to pass in Canada, because I don't think they're going to be able to figure it out either. And if they do, and if it works, then that is honestly a really good sign for the concept as a whole, but I'm not going to hold my breath that it even comes into existence.
Yeah, to be fair, though, there have been things of recent that we have no idea how it's going to work, and it's still voted in. Brexit, for example?
I feel like plenty of people knew exactly what was going to happen.
Like all the battery locomotive.
Yeah, failing, yeah.
But
again, they didn't choose their option, and then they're like,
Anyway, yeah, I'm interested to see. I think what they should do is just ask ChatGPT, because it seems to have all the answers these days. If you put down, like, how should we do reciprocal switching, I bet it would come up with something. That's your homework, everyone. Everyone listen to this podcast. Yeah, go ask ChatGPT how reciprocal switching should work.
And then make sure to correct the answer to put up the dang wires.
Yeah.
We will train the AI. We'll train the AI to do our activism for us.
That way, when ChatGPT turns 35 years old and it can legally run for president, it will know to put up the dang wires.
Exactly.
Well, wait. Yeah. Well, Google's almost old enough, right?
Oh, you're right. Hold on. When was Google founded? 1998. Okay. We're not there yet. We still have like another 10 years.
Damn it.
Yeah, 10 years.
I'm announcing my run for vice president alongside Google in 2035.
Nice.
When companies have the same rights as people, so they run for president.
I mean, they're getting there. They kind of already do.
Well, I mean, really, it's gonna be the Google. What is it called? Bard is the name of the bot.
No.
Oh my God! It learned Bangladesh.
That's what's going to be running for president. I mean, by 2035, the AI will have the same rights as humans, or it will have subjugated us all.
Well, hold on. If businesses already have the same rights as people, why didn't one of us announce running for president with GE as our vice president, and our whole ticket is making more U-boats?
Because that isn't putting up the dang wires. Thank you.
True.
That's not going to win. You're going to go up against EMD.
Making more GG1s?
The EMD lobby.
The EDM lobby. Siemens gets elected in the White House, just like falls over.
Only when it's cold.
Because procurement is terrible. Anyway, all right. It's time to do like the end of this show. Do you guys have anything to say, commercials, whatever, before we wrap up?
Someone please hire me.
Yeah, if you need an editor, TJ's your man.
Going to run for vice president with the Southern Pacific Transportation Company.
I thought you were about to say Sprint. And I was gonna be like, rip Sprint. I heard Sprint put in a ballot. I know the dead are voting. Anyway, all right. What are our guesses for latest train on Amtrak?
Eastbound Zephyr.
Eastbound Zephyr. All right.
You know what? For memes, I'm gonna say westbound late for Shore Limited.
Westbound Lakeshore. Let me find that in this cluster of trains. That's the Maple Leaf. That's not the Lakeshore Limited. Westbound Lakeshore Limited. Okay, I found one.
Alrighty.
Westbound Sunset Limited.
Westbound Sunset Limited. Okay.
I was gonna say westbound Sunset, so
Heck.
let's go westbound Chief.
Westbound Chief. Okay. Let's start there then. Southwest Chief to Los Angeles. 1 hour and 3 minutes late at Lamy, New Mexico. There's also another westbound Chief, which is 5 minutes late at Princeton, Illinois. It just left Chicago. Let me go find the Lakeshore Limited again. There are two of them on the system. One of them's right here. It's 449 to Albany Rensselaer. That's 4 minutes late at Pittsfield. And then the Lakeshore Limited to... But that's the other one, to New York. Lakeshore Limited to Chicago is 21 minutes late at Poughkeepsie, New York.
Oh, wow.
It's at Pittsfield. We should switch the cam to the Springfield cam.
It's going the other way. Shoot, what else did I have to do? I had to grab the Sunset Limited, right? The westbound?
Yeah.
Yes.
Westbound Sunset.
Westbound Sunset is 3 hours and 3 minutes late at Alpine, Texas.
Oof.
It's not the latest train on Amtrak.
Uh-oh.
What is this one? Nope, that's not it. Oh, right, TJ's. The California Zephyr to... You wanted the eastbound, right?
Yeah.
To Chicago. 24 minutes late at Colfax, California. Also,
Wow.
6 hours and 32 minutes late at Green River, Utah, and it is the latest train on Amtrak.
Oh, I win.
You won. Yay, congratulations. There's also a 5-hour late Texas Eagle, almost in Chicago. Everything else is running... there are a couple things that are a couple hours late, but nothing else is that late. So...
The Canadian, almost 2.5 hours late.
That's pretty easy for the Canadian. It's also almost... Oh, wait, no, it's heading to Vancouver. It just left Toronto, and it's 2 hours late. Oh, boy. They're in for a long trip.
If for the memes, what about Train 43, westbound Pennsylvanian?
What about it? It's
43.
It's 13 minutes late at Pittsburgh.
Okay. I just caught it on the...
Or, sorry, at Altoona.
Yeah, I just caught it at the Horseshoe Curve cam as eastbound coal drag was going by. No derailments, rip.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, somebody owes you money, TJ.
Well, that's going to be my termination. I've been watching the cam this whole time. Someone owes me a lot of money.
This is why he needs to get hired. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm in severe debt now.
I don't have anything for my thing. Oh, you know what? Yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna put this in as my termination, which is that the MBTA continues to deteriorate.
They should hire us to run the MBTA.
Oh, we would do a great job, but
That's
you know...
my termination. They should hire us.
It's,
I mean,
Get rid of the
well,
buses, put in more street running.
Mm-hmm.
they could hire one of us, just saying.
Can we get the Cowboys going on the street for MBTA?
That's what we need, that's Cowboys. I'll be the cowboy.
Yeah.
Ride on horseback, do it.
There's no way we could do a worse job with the MBTA. I'm certain about that. Tyler, what is your termination?
I'm definitely not planning to do silly things with SolidWorks.
To
And
Montezuma?
it's a link to
Oh,
an
spree
article.
equalization. Good God.
For steam locomotives, yes. But also for... Oh, this isn't the model site.
Look, as long as it's not a Montezuma double fairly.
I'm looking
Mark
forward to.
would kill everybody in like a 5-mile radius.
I'm looking
if-
forward to Montezuma. Anyway, all right. Now what? TJ, what's your termination?
I already said.
Oh, they should hire you.
No, someone owes me a lot of money.
Oh, right. Do they work for the MBTA?
No, they know who they are. They
Know who they are.
They said they were buying me a grocery. You know what? Let's just say,
TJ,
conspiracy theories.
was that a knock on your door? Was the FBI there?
No, that might have been. Somebody owes me a lot of money because I owe someone who may or may not know the whereabouts of a lot of ammonium nitrate. They're looking for their check, and so now.
Hold on. I found it. I just got served this article. TPD finds several hundred pounds of bomb-making material in home of this man.
Wait a minute.
Oh my god.
I wonder if that's actually the same.
We have a sequel. All right, Mew, do you have final words for this episode?
Sure. Buy trading cards. Donate to the
Base.
Shoreline Trolley Museum if you want. Build you into 22 and means.
Okay. I just want to point out that you said buy trading cards, and then you said donate to the Shoreline Trolley Museum if you want. Like, that's the optional one. You have to buy trading cards. Anyway, all right. Thanks for hanging around for this episode of the Terminus podcast. We will see you again in a couple of weeks with more exciting train news, or not. Thanks to everyone on this episode. Thanks to everyone watching this episode. Thanks to Stephen West.
On this episode.
Yeah, thanks for the people that weren't here. Thanks to Stephen West for running the Loco base, because without that, we wouldn't have trading cards. And thanks to Virtual Railfen for not serving us a copyright strike. In case of an emergency, call Conrail. Goodbye!
Bye.
Bye.